All right, we're recording now. Okay.
Great.
Actually, both of you now, you're both split screen, so that's kind of nice.
Good. Looks like a clean shave going on.
Yeah, I decided to shave today, and I'm like, I don't know if I should have done that. So I'm gonna grow it back. I can grow it back like in less than a week. So
Wow.
yeah.
That would take me, I don't know, probably 6 months to get something decent going.
I grow quickly. I'm sure you're the same way, Greg, right?
Yeah, fairly quickly.
Yeah, about a week I'll have a good thing again going. The good thing about it takes away my gray, so I look younger now. So.
Right.
Oh.
I have beard out of pure laziness is all.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought let me do something different. Let me look. I took a look at your thing, Paul. It looks really good. Had a chance to pull it up. I actually kind of was able to kind of manipulate and move things around and get that graph. I put that graph, Greg, that Paul created. I put it right below your bullets. Is that a good place for it? That flow chart?
I think you're talking about the one that we already had, but he added the
He added a little more to it. So what I did was I went and just put that graph back in underneath your objectives and label it like I did label table figure 2 that goes in line with figure 1. So
so we put it in 2 places now. Yeah, I think that's fine. He didn't specify in the instructions, so I think we can.
Yeah, more's better. I think just put it in there.
Yeah, it's more thorough.
Yeah, I looked at it. Looks really good. What I did, Paul, was I'll send this out. I thought maybe since we had my graph and then your graph right back to back, I flipped your text and put your text first after your start of your strategy, and had the text laid out, and then at the very bottom had the graph, like see table 2, and it had the graph below that. So I thought that way it looked kind of weird with two of the graphs on top of one another.
Yeah, I was thinking I didn't want to just delete it in case we wanted to keep both, or if we wanted to go with one, I wasn't sure, and so I just left them both in there. But yeah, if we're putting all of my explanation stuff first, and then so we're still keeping both graphs, but just doing the extended one after mine.
Yeah, I'll show you. Now I was looking trying to figure out how to actually label that graph, because like for mine I have like it came from the module, but I'm not for sure how we're supposed to like cite that down in the references, that module 2 that we go through the modules and do the PDF. I'm not sure how to, unless you guys know how to cite that. We just put like Liberty, I don't know. I just put it down there below in the note thing, but I don't know if we're supposed to actually go back and cite that again in our reference section, but I don't know how to do that. I actually had to lay it out correctly, because there's no author by it or anything like that. So that's why I don't know if we just put Liberty University, put our class, and then put the thing. I don't know. You got me. I did though look at. I went through to see how to label your graph, Paul, and I went through the module.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see where we're supposed to download another graph? It's and I wonder if we're supposed to use that. I'm just trying.
It did, yeah. It said something about there being an example outline.
Yeah, what you do is
the ISD report. That thing.
Yeah. When you're in the module, you have to actually click that link, and then it takes you to like a download page, and it has it has like Dr. Skepia something, kind of that same author that they used.
Page, but I did not see a.
Yeah, let me show you.
Download for the instructional strategy.
Yeah, can you pull up?
Let me go to the module.
Go to the module, under module part 3. Let me see if I can find it.
Wait, back to module 3 or in module 4?
Well, module 4, but it's like notes part 3, because there's 3 parts to it. It's the last part.
The learning materials or the assignments?
Yeah, learning material. The one you go through that module, and then you can print it out afterwards into a PDF
file.
I
see, part 3. Right.
Yeah, part 3. Go to that, and it's on. There's no page numbers. Oh wait, yeah, there is. It's page 13.
Is it? Are you clicking on the instructional units part, or the 4.1, 4.2, 4.3 options that were below that before you got to the page?
Well, it says on the very bottom, it says, note, download the example planning chart via the instructional unit. So on the very bottom of page 13, there's there's no pages lined up. You look to the left of it. There's like pages broken down. It says page 13.
Okay, let me check that out.
I don't know if we're required to do that. And I downloaded it before. I can see if I can find it. I might be able to. It's called a planning matrix.
I was trying to base, I guess, mine off of the one that was in the sample ISD report, the one that we had been looking at, the other game-based learning one.
Yeah.
Except they did a horizontal chart and
that's it.
They seemed to have a ridiculous number of columns.
That's the matrix. That's the matrix that they used. Yeah, it's
because some of the stuff it didn't seem like we were quite ready to use yet because they had like media preferences.
Yeah, it has like
specific software they were going to use, and I don't think we got to that part.
Yeah, it has like mod, title, objective assessment, activities, instructional content material, reading, student preparation, participation, media development, and implementation, and time/allotments notes. But yeah, that's kind of I don't know. I don't think
that seemed like a fully complete chart that you could only do after everything was done, like for the final draft.
Yeah.
Because some of those pieces I feel like we don't actually have yet.
I don't either. I think it's because we're now. I think we're on our last piece coming up, the media selection. In there, our last thing we got to do.
Yep.
Was there some more to it?
It seems like we've kind of been mentioning it as we went along.
Well, yeah, Module 5, it says to do 1 October, which is media selection. And it's like a very small paragraph. I know we got to do some other things to the project, don't we? After, because this is going to be week 5. That's going to be next week, right? So that's only week 5. So what's we're going to do 6, 7, and 8? Is we going to have to build something else, maybe? Do we have to do like a presentation during our live session? Is what he said.
Yeah, that's coming up. I think that's in week
6,
7, or 6 or 7.
I think it's 6, week 6, I believe. I don't know.
Yeah, live classroom sessions in week 6.
Week 6. So what's in week 7 then, and 8? Do we just fine tune our project? I guess. I mean, I don't know.
7. We have a peer assessment due in week 7.
And what's
There's no learning materials, no readings, no nothing. And
that's when we just, I guess, review how we feel about each other working together. That's the peer assessment for this project.
Probably so.
Or we have to review somebody's project from the live presentation.
Oh, yeah, no telling, maybe.
Or both. And then week 8 is a video blog. The final project's due. And it says an e-portfolio checkpoint. But I think that's only for people who are putting together their portfolio for certifications, right?
Probably.
Are you guys doing that at all?
No, I'm just on that graduate certificate, so I'm not doing all the quiz you have to take at the first of it.
Like which gate do you have to pass?
Yeah, I took the first one when we did our first Education 629. Because they said take one, but then last he's like, don't take one if you're not going to do the program, which I'm not, so I didn't take this last one.
Yeah, I did the same thing in the first class I took. 631 was the first class I took, and I took the survey anyways. I'm like, this is so unnecessary for me. Why am I actually doing this stuff? And but anyways. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, at first I thought I'd get docked points if I didn't take it because it had a point number underneath, like 19 points. I'm like, oh, you take this and get 19 points, and it doesn't show up on your overall classroom stuff. So I'm like, all right, I'm not going to do it this time.
No, once I found that out, I took it and I just guessed on all the answers because I didn't know if we were supposed to skip it. But
it's detailed. I had to actually bring all the websites up and show stuff how to figure where to find that information. It was.
Right. Well, you could do that, or you could just guess.
Oh yeah.
And deal with the bets. I know you're a perfectionist. So
I know. I was like,
I was like, I'm not looking all this up for 5 points.
Yeah.
I'll take the hit.
I don't know how we're going to break this last one up. I guess we need to figure, like Paul, Greg, we're talking about a while ago on just texting each other, me and Paul, about it seems like media selection is really, we've already pretty much got that. We're doing Chromebooks, we're doing the apps, the software, so we've already kind of selected ours. Other people probably aren't doing game-based learning. They're probably not using computers and everything, right? So it looks like we're already ahead of that game. So we got to figure, like what Paul was saying, we got to figure out exactly what part of the apps are we going to use. I've never used those before at all. I mean, have you used them? I've kind of Googled them and looked at some of the things, but I've never actually used them and how to implement those into our learning.
You're talking about the University of Colorado ones?
Well, that are just Google Apps for Education. What we're talking about within ours, because we're going to use those within our, because that's what we're having them do, right? Develop a lesson using using that stuff.
Interesting. Yep. So there are. Yeah, I'm familiar with the Google Apps for Education. It's just like their normal Google suite of apps. It's not anything really special for education. It's just Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Slides, Google. They have something that's kind of like Microsoft Paint. They've got basically duplicates of every Microsoft program.
Okay.
And using those, I guess we need to define what exactly we're going to want them to do with those apps.
Yeah, and if I mean, can we do it through a game-based learning? I mean, that's the whole point, is a game-based learning. So can we do that through game-based?
Does it say we have to actually define specifically what we want them to do, or just say what we're going to use, and like maybe a little bit about how we're going to use it to deliver content? But I don't know if we have to. Are you talking about a whole tutorial or something?
Yeah,
I don't know if we have to get that deep into it. Because I don't know, I'm looking on this.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about what our topic is. Our topic is game-based learning, and we got to implement some type of game, right? Through this lesson.
You could do like a digital scavenger hunt about having the teachers go through and create a document, and in that document they have to change the font and they have to change the color of the font, they have to change the paragraph styles, they have to insert a picture, they have to, you know what I mean, all the different features that you would use in Microsoft Office or Google Docs. Each of those features, we just come up with a list of those. But like I said, I don't know if that's even required, or we just have to generally call it a digital scavenger hunt game where they have to hit these different checkpoints to create a product.
I mean, that sounds kind of neat, really. I mean, and it shows them how to use that stuff. It has how to incorporate in their lessons, because they can easily present a PowerPoint presentation, do something in their class, do something to where they can do it on a Word doc or whatever, and they pass it out, as a hard copy, or they can have the students do the same thing, to where they create scavenger hunts to where they have to go out to maybe different websites and find stuff, and maybe go find a picture of a giraffe like in Africa or something like that, and they go to a website, they got to pull a giraffe, and then they got to insert it into somewhere, and they got to type something out to what it is. And I don't know, I'm just kind of thinking off the top of my head how they could utilize that in a game based where they're learning also, and that's based on their subject. So if they're talking about science, then maybe they're talking about mathematics, then they're going out pulling stuff for mathematics, maybe inserting bar graphs and pie charts and everything and whatever. I mean, I don't know. I'm just kind of thinking what they could use it for.
I'm trying to pull up now. I'm having some computer problems. I got you guys on my phone, and then I'm working over here on my Chromebook. I'm having some computer issues trying to pull up the text of the actual assignment itself. What are we specifically being told to do?
Well, looking at it here, it basically says in the beginning we have to think about accessibility and copyright issues, as well as additional reading or research that we might have done pertaining to the media. And then it seems like for each media software thing we pick, there are 5 questions to go through. Are additional supports needed to access the media? What are computer capability requirements needed? what's the bandwidth requirement, who will create the media, what skills are needed, what skills will the users need, and how will they be developed.
Well, since you got a Chromebook, Greg, you might be able to get all that information off of the requirements, right? Off the computer itself, the Chromebook. Maybe like what the software it's running and everything. We have that listed down as far as the computer itself, and then the application. We got to go somewhere to download the apps, the Google apps, and put it on the computer. Is it like
you don't even download it?
Yeah, it's all cloud based, so it's already all available for you.
Yeah.
The only thing you have to have is a Google account, and then they're all available for you.
Yeah, I was going to do that. I went to a website, but then you had to put all your stuff in there, so I know, like your organization. So I didn't know if I had to put all my. So I didn't do it, but to register and sign up for a GAF, Google Apps.
Well, you could, even if you don't sign up for that, if you have a Gmail account and just click on the little like apps block whenever you're on the Google homepage, and then you can just look at Google Sheets, Google Docs, Google Drive. Like those are all the same apps that pop up in the education packet. I think I guess maybe GAF has like a specific network for a school to like give students email addresses and faculty as well.
Yeah, I don't know. Do they?
That's like the only thing I think could be different. But all the material's the same.
It looks like this. I don't know if you can see where I'm looking, but this is my whole screen. And then you zoom in up here in the corner where it's got a 3x3 grid of blocks. And those blocks, once you click on them, that pulls up a list of apps, and you've got your Gmail, you've got Google Drive, you've got Google Classroom, you've got the whole deal already available on cloud. And that's just from having a Google account. Google Apps for Education is kind of a branding that they use to say, hey, look, you can also use this for education. It's not it doesn't give you new access to stuff that you didn't already have.
Maybe Google Classroom doesn't normally show up. That's the only one.
Oh, yeah.
But everything else should be the same.
Yeah, I guess we got to figure out what we want to do, and then attack the media selection. I think that'd be good, and that's where it kind of go into copyright issues as well. Is what can we actually go and copy? If they're going to go and copy a picture and paste it and everything. I mean, what's the copyright issues about doing that? So maybe we have to stay within maybe EDU websites or something. I don't know, or it's like for the military, for government. If we want to pull like a lot of like JPEG pictures of media and then put into our design, we can actually go to like .mil websites like Navy, Army, and we can pull stuff from them and use them into our curriculum, and there's no copyright infringement because we're using a DoD, picture. Like if you got like a person shooting like a soldier or a Navy person on a ship, we pull that from like maybe a .mil from a Navy website. There's no copyright infringements or restrictions on it. We can do what we want with that picture because it's still within the DoD. I don't know if that's what he's talking about when it deals with. And I remember, was it last class we talked about copyright issues? Or was that the first class? I don't remember. In this 3 classes that we taken, we went through copyright issues. I think it was last class.
I think it was in 631.
Yeah, I think it was 631. So.
Yeah, there's also the digital commons that we could use that are copyright free, kind of like shareware, not shareware, but open source stuff that anybody can use without any copyright infringements. And it actually works really well through the Google suite of apps. So in a Google Doc, for instance, you just go to insert image, then you have a choice of selecting basically a Google searched image, and all of the ones that pop up are part of the digital commons, so you don't have to worry about.
Okay. So that would be good. Yeah. So that'd be something we could kind of spell out probably like within that, right? Yeah. I mean, I kind of like that scavenger thing, the game. I don't know if we got to put that within what we're doing right now. That's due for our assignment that's due on tomorrow, or is that something that we can insert the scavenger hunt? In our media selection. or is that something we need to do within the design itself about they're going to go out and do a scavenger hunt? But I don't.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything in the list of requirements for this week's stuff. I haven't seen anything that requires us to go that detailed. Have you, Paul?
No, I was just going to say I think our like what we have is general enough that we can add whatever we want in later, but because we have like we're just going to give a generic presentation of a sample, they're going to create something, but we didn't spell out the exact details of it.
Yeah.
And it's a rough draft too, so if we get feedback like, hey, you need to be more specific in the instructional strategy section, then we can change that for the final draft.
Right.
Well,
but I think we definitely have enough.
Well, I mean, based on his feedback from our first submission, it seemed like it was pretty good as far as support and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Because all we got dinged for was like a formatting issue, right?
Yeah, the double paragraph that I didn't catch, but I fixed that. The new one. It drove me nuts. You know. Yeah. So that was kind of crazy. I didn't see how that was done, so I had to go back and reformat it all to where there was like an extra space in between the paragraphs, or somehow it got an extra space in there, so I took it out. But,
gotcha.
But other than that, he said our stuff was good with our support, so maybe I just say we just submit what we have right now for this week, and hopefully he'll give us some feedback, and we can figure out what we're going to do with. But maybe this, we can come back. We can do some more collaboration sometime this week if you want, like maybe Tuesday or Wednesday or something like that. But maybe let's think of. You want to think about like a scavenger hunt to where it's something that's they can go out and pull, and maybe that can be the basis. They do a scavenger hunt based on their topic that they want to choose. So if they want to do science, then they go out and do that same scavenger hunt and pull in certain things, and then insert that into the documents, the whatever. So that way they show them how to utilize the computer and how to use GAF, and then pull in their subject material into that. Maybe they can copy part of their lesson plan or something. They drag into something and then have the little video insert or the JPEG or the picture. I don't know. I'm just kind of thinking to get them involved and integrate with the technology.
Well, what if, since maybe you're not as familiar with the Google apps, and I think I'm fairly familiar, and Greg's pretty familiar with it.
Mm-hmm.
What if, Brad, do you want to maybe write up kind of a general scavenger hunt model or something, and Greg and I could focus on like picking, maybe 2 different Google apps each to go through the 5 different questions and explicitly say, what are the supports needed, computer requirements, bandwidth, what are the user skills, things like that.
I could probably almost do, I'm just thinking out loud, maybe I could do a flow chart of that scavenger hunt. Or maybe, I don't know, I can kind of see and figure how much detail we need to have within that scavenger hunt, but maybe I can do it in a flow chart. Like, pick your topic, now find a picture, now insert that picture into what, I don't know, I'm trying to think, and maybe I'd write it out first, but if we could turn it into a flow chart, it might be easier to read on the flow chart versus in a paragraph form. I don't know.
Yeah. Or it's a list of things, say, look, here are 25 different things you could do to create a document, and they all have a certain point value each, and they have a time limit. Say they've got 15 minutes to generate something, then however many of those elements they can include in their product, then you add up the points and make it a little competition. That makes it a little more game-like as opposed to assignment-based. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Only thing is I don't really know. I have to do some more research on all the GAF, like what can be done with those. But I can try to come up with some ideas of a scavenger hunt, because then you could turn around and use that for the kids too, which would be kind of good for the teacher if they're teaching some specific topic. I don't know. I mean, I'm not K through 12. I'm thinking adult learning, but pick a topic, whatever that they're learning. Maybe something to deal with maybe history. And maybe around the area here in the D.C. area, let's say the White House. So they have to go out and they have to find, X amount of facts about the White House or something. And I don't know, I'm just something to where they can do all that. They may do a very simplistic scavenger hunt. And we could probably put that within what we have now with the assessment, because that would go with the assessment. Because we already, like Paul already kind of laid out the time period, like 15 minutes to do this, 20, 2.5 hours to do that presentation. So within that, we get more detailed within the selection, the media selection. But they're gonna go out, and find X, Y, and Z out there on the for the game, and then pull it back together, incorporate it in a lesson. I think we can take what we have already now and build upon it within that scavenger hunt. I mean, but I can do that. I can start thinking about a game that they can use, maybe some certain general topics. Because I don't want to be too specific. Because again, we want to where, like we said in our assessment, in your instructional strategy, is that they go out based upon they're going to choose their curriculum, right? That they want to do their topic. So we don't want to be so specific, so we'll be kind of general. Based on your chosen topic, you can go out and find a picture related to that topic or something like that. Then you're going to go and do this and this and that. So we'll be very general enough to where they take whatever they want and use that flow chart or that procedure and building their GBL lesson. I don't know. It says in a storyboard. It also says see in a storyboard or course planning chart. So we do the same thing in the media selection. So maybe do it like a storyboard, a graph, the flow chart. And then within the questions, you guys may put that like in a paragraph form, like the computer capabilities. That can be like in bullet form, whatever. The Chromebooks must have, this requirements. They need to have this internet speed. It needs to be Wi-Fi, whatever, in the bandwidth.
Yeah, I think I can just pull up the specs of a basic Chromebook. I mean, I could try to pull that. I could pull that up even right now. What, like how many gigs of RAM it has to have to operate Chrome OS and things like that. I could probably find that stuff.
And we can always say that there's already all the Chromebooks are already set up to access Google Apps, right? You said it's in the cloud, but then you have to have like an icon or somewhere where you can pull it up. So we can already say that they've already downloaded, or at least we may have them go in and register and get the access to that software through the cloud.
Yeah, they should be able to just open any internet browser. I mean, we could say Chrome and log into your Google account, Gmail account, and then they should have access.
To
or register, I guess, if they haven't registered yet. Do we want to maybe? The only thing I'm worried about is if we just say Google Apps. There's a lot of different apps. Maybe we need to. I was thinking maybe be slightly more specific.
Well, yeah, because based on the scavenger
and break down a few of them that we might actually use.
Well, based on
not a huge description, but just something.
Well, based on the scavenger hunt, if I go out and do that, what do you think which apps would be best to utilize that scavenger hunt for them to pull that information from the internet into one of those apps? What do you think's the best one to use, or two of them?
I'd say Google Slides, which is basically like Microsoft PowerPoint. It's probably the most media rich of any of them. It's not just word processing, but it has text in it. It's not just spreadsheets, but you can put tables in it if you want. It kind of pulls all of them together into a presentation, and I think that would be most useful for a teacher to learn is how to use Google Slides, because then they can use that as presentations for their students.
Okay. Anything else, or do you think it's just that one?
Well, I was thinking we would probably maybe not as much for the scavenger hunt, but we could use Google Drive to distribute the readings ahead of time, sort of the prep that I had mentioned.
All right.
We could have a common Google Drive that we say we give people access to find readings, and maybe for like the assessments within the training session, use Google Forms. It's kind of like a SurveyMonkey thing, but Google's version of that. And you can set it up to provide to get feedback from participants and treat it as an assessment tool.
All right, that sounds good.
They even have it where you can set it up as a quiz with automatic grading and stuff now. So
Okay, well that would probably answer question one. Additional supports needed to access the media. plug in special software, etc. That way we can list out. Google Slides will be used for the game-based learning, for them to develop through the scavenger hunt, and then you said the Google Drive and Google Forms is where we can have all the, like, actually probably the first objective, right? Intro to GBL. We can have some type of maybe some quick reference things about what GBL is, like some different literature reviews that focus on GBL, and implement that into your classroom. That way they actually have that access to that, where they can read those different projects that they've done, different testings.
That might be something that we would say we'd create in Google Slides.
In Slides?
Or a Google Doc. And then the Google Forms is more of a assessment, quizzing, survey type tool.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for checking at the end of that, I think I forget exactly how I said it in there, but we would give some sort of assessment to see if people were paying attention at the end of the introduction, basically.
Okay.
So that would just be like a specific, I would say, Google Forms just for the assessment pieces of our project.
Okay. All right. I could do that. I can just. So what I'll do, I'll start figuring out a storyboard of a scavenger hunt game, and we'll implement that into Google Slides. But we can spell that out in the media selection, whether through a storyboard or whatever, and then other things will probably go into paragraph form, I would think. Looks like. I haven't really looked at the other examples out there yet on the media selection. I'll have to look at that, but I think the main thing is how we're going to implement GBL, and I think doing the scavenger hunt and make it a fun thing, points and everything, would I think fit the bill for what we're trying to achieve in our project.
Yeah. Were there any other Google Docs, Greg, that you thought might be good?
No. The more we open it up to other, certainly teachers could use training on the whole suite of applications, but
right. But just
much
for us,
larger task. Yeah, for our purposes, I don't think we need to spread ourselves any thinner than we already are.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think keep it simple. I think a scavenger hunt would be simple. A couple of things. Maybe just have maybe 4 or 5 different tasks to go out and find in that scavenger hunt. Nothing really crazy, but just getting them used to going out somewhere, pulling information, put into Google Slides, and then they're able to present that to other instructors or teachers or even students. And then they take that lesson plan, that curriculum. Now they can take that format, and now they can apply it to their students by whatever they're talking about during that week of classes. They can pick a topic or a subject and have them do the same thing just for fun, to get out there and to learn. And that's the whole thing, is about taking something like a game for learning and make it fun. So if they're having to do go out and find these 5 things out there on the internet and pull them, and this and that, I think to me that'd be fun to do that. And plus they're learning. They're learning technology and how to integrate that for one thing, and then they're learning a specific thing. Maybe having to say, hey, find a picture of the longest river in, I don't know, whatever, they got to figure out what is that. And they have to go out and find out what the longest river is in the United States, and then they pull it, and then they do all that. So that's like a game thing. I'll do some Googling about some different scavenger hunts, via that, and see if there's some things out there that's already kind of created that I can look at. There's got to be something out there I can find.
Can we go ahead and delineate any tasks that we need to do for this coming week? Because I think we're all in agreement that our work for tomorrow is ready to submit. Is that right?
Yeah, what I'll do is I'll finish. I think I pretty much formatted everything right there. I'll send that out to you guys today. Once we're done with this, I'll send it out to you guys. Give me the thumbs up, and then if that looks good, then we'll submit that for tomorrow, and you can submit whenever you want to. But like I said, I think for next week, because we got a lot to do this week. We've got really 3 assignments this week. We've got to do our chapter review. We got another media selection that we got to pull out 2 options to interview somebody, or 3 e-learning technologies, and we got to talk about that stuff, and then we got to do this as well. So we're busy this week with a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So you want to do the whole storyboard scavenger hunt thing?
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do all that.
Greg, are you cool pulling up the system requirements, I guess, and maybe write a little bit about Google or Google Slides, and I can write a couple blurbs about Google Drive and Google Forms.
Yeah,
How we could use that, and
just following
based
these
off of
5
those 5. Yeah.
Yeah, I can totally do that.
And I think then we're covered.
Yeah, like who will create the media? Well, basically, the teachers are going to create the media. What skills are needed? Well, they need to know how to operate their Chromebook. They need to know how to get on the internet. They need to know how to pull stuff. So that's pretty much, And what will they develop? They'll develop technology-based skills. They'll develop how to utilize the software and how to integrate that with their lessons. So it's pretty. I mean, they're pretty cut dry questions. So I don't think those are hard. I mean, you guys kind of figure out how you want to divvy up those questions. Not a whole lot.
Well, I think we have to replicate those. Don't you guys think we have to replicate those questions for each of the media?
That's what it sounded like.
So, like, we have to do those 5 questions for Google Slides, and then we have to do them again for Google Forms, and then we have to do them again for Google Drive, and then we have to do them again for whatever else we're doing.
Right.
I guess. Well, I mean, the computer capability requirements, the bandwidth, that's just an overall. And
that should be the same for each one.
In the first,
if we just
one
say
too.
Some broadband internet connection.
Yeah.
Every school is going to have that at this point, I think.
Yep.
And we can even put out in a graph if you wanted to, like have those questions and then list them down there, like in a little bullet form. I don't know. It doesn't have to be in a paragraph form.
We can make a table out of this and make it pretty easy, where we just have the 5 questions across the top, and then our 3 media selections down the side, or vice versa, and then answer those questions in a table.
Yeah,
that's true.
That might be easier versus reading everything. Sometimes reading is kind of hard, but if you see a graph, I mean, that way you can take that graph away and you can just sit there and go down and pick it out and see how everything flows. I think it's easier with a graph versus in paragraph form.
Sure.
Brad, since you're the formatting guru, do you want to make a table in our document? Well, not after we submit it, right? So after Sunday, make a table in our working document that has these questions in it and our 3 media, our media avenues.
So it's going to be Google Slides, Google Drive,
and Google
Forms.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll create a table with all.
And then we'll populate the table. You and I will do that.
I'll do that. I'll have that in by tomorrow, or I might be able to get it done tonight.
I'm not going to do it tonight. There's no.
Well,
no
I mean,
rush.
the table.
The table. Okay.
Yeah, I get the table. That way, you guys can have it, and then you guys can start, populate your information there if you want. So
just make sure it's not in the document that is sent to us for submission, because then it'll look incomplete.
Yeah, no, I'll do it. I'll do a separate Word document, and then I'll just put it in there for you guys. So you want to do all those 4 questions then? I mean, all 5 questions, or do you want to take the bandwidth out?
I mean, some of them will be the same, but we can, just to look complete, we can list the same thing over and over, just broadband internet connection or whatever it is.
All right.
Or even merge those cells into one, where it shows that for all of these options, you just need a broadband internet connection, a Google account, and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I might take that one graph that he had, that he showed us, that we're not using. Maybe I can kind of look and see how that's arranged, and maybe kind of arrange something like that with this graph. I'll figure it out. It shouldn't be too hard.
Okay.
And I'll go out and try to do the scavenger hunt thing, and then create maybe a flow chart or a storyboard or something like that. But I'll do something really simple.
Do you have a website you like to use for flow charts? Because I can send you which one I use.
Which one is it? And I can just use what you use.
They let you make a free account, and you can include up to 60 things.
Okay.
So arrows, boxes, all that stuff counts. Let me type it into Skype.
Okay.
Make sure I get this.
Then I'll do this record session, then I'll dump it back into our folder with the other one. I don't know how we're going to get that into our final. I don't know. Maybe you pull it from there, or do we have to submit that also, I think, once we go into live text. I think that's where we have to submit all of our stuff at the end.
Well, the link went a little crazy, but
I think I might be
lucidchart.com is the basic. And I signed up. I hit sign up with Google and used my Liberty email to log in there. And I didn't pay for anything. It's just the free maker.
Okay.
It's
yeah,
pretty
it pulled it
intuitive.
right
They
up.
have some nice templates there.
I clicked it on the link and it pulled right up. Free flow chart maker, Lucid chart. Okay, I got it.
Yeah. And it'll save your charts online. You can download them as JPEGs, PNGs, whatever you want.
Yeah, that thing's kind of hard to. I had to take your thing and I had to kind of cut it again and then copy it and then paste it into the deal, but it looks pretty good. So
good.
It's not hard. But yeah, the online thing kind of it kind of shifts things around for some reason.
It does. I think I copied it into a regular Word document first and resized it, and then tried to copy it online. And
yeah. So just make sure when you submit your ones for tomorrow that you don't open up, I guess, the OneDrive, however, right? Or how do you do it? Whatever I sent to you when I attach it to you, just make sure you don't open up it again because it might screw the format up.
Yeah, just download it from the email.
Yeah, from the email. So
my phone is about to die here, guys. So if I lose you, that's where I went.
Okay. Well, I think we got everything done. I think we got a pretty
I think
good.
we're in good shape. So we know our assignments for the week, and if we need to, we can text or email and get another session together to collaborate.
Yep, and I'll definitely have that graph in before either today or tomorrow. Before the weekend's over, I'll have that graphed in. That way you guys start working on your stuff. But you can work on your stuff now, and then later you can plug it and copy and paste in that graph. That's pretty easy to do.
Right.
So
sounds good.
All right.
All right. See you guys.
Thank you, gentlemen. Talk to you soon.
All right, you guys. All right, talk to you later.
Bye.
All right, bye.